Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. Hope everyone's having a great night. So today we're going to talk a little bit more on the competitive side of Overwatch and possibly Valorant. Not only that, but if you guys want to know and talk about some weeby anime stuff as well as school idols and fandom, please by all means join in. Or hey, find some friends that are very interested in it. Because today we have some special guests. We got Mr. Kivana or KeyyyOW as well as Zachary. All right, you guys are all good. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Key. Also sometimes go by Kevin. I play Overwatch competitively. Sometimes I stream, and yeah, Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach, or as you can see, I go by Zachary for the most part. As of right now, I'm just a content creator or streamer for Tempo's community team. I'm also the big idol fan here.
So, big question before we all start: why the many Y's in both your names? Please explain.
You want to answer yours first, Key?
Sure. Yeah, mine's yeah. It's just pretty much before I used to go by Kivana, and I wanted to shorten it to Key, and KeyyyOW was taken on most places, so I decided why not just, I tried 2 Y's, that didn't work on everything, so 3 Y's worked on everything, so it's just, simple.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah. And then in my case, I wanted to go by Zachary for the longest time, but at first I went by Coffee was my other name. But since Zach is just a name, it wasn't anywhere, so we tried Zachary with the second A gone, didn't exist. But on Twitch, the minimum Ys I had to have was 4, so that's how that came to be. But for Twitter, the max Ys, because one of my favorite idols is named Nyachan, who had like 8 Ys in her name. And I just copied that. And I just hit the max number of Ys on Twitter. And that's how I got that.
You know what? That's fair. We accept that. No judgment here. So, I know you, I'll be honest, Zach, we've known each other for a while now. And I remember that you and of course Key as well have been very active during the Overwatch days. You guys were even top 500. Are you guys still top 500, or has that just kind of like it's Overwatch? Is it just like a dead game now too?
I still can hit top 500 every season if I actually put in the hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to have a similar answer, but I don't know, I just don't play the game as like seriously. Mm-hmm. I can't take the game seriously.
Yeah, because I know it's like Overwatch, it was supposed to be like the biggest game changing, or like kind of like the newest game of its time. It was supposed to pop off. It was supposed to be like League of Legends, be like CSGO and all that fun stuff, but it just kind of died down like in the span of how many years? Like 2-3 years?
I maybe argue like after like year 1 that it just started just having trouble.
Like, coming from your guys' perspective, since you guys were in the competitive field for it, like what made it to a point where you're just like, this game kind of weird, like, or it's just not getting fun anymore in a way.
You want to answer that first?
I think we're gonna have a similar answer. I was trying to know, Overwatch is by Blizzard, and Blizzard just stopped caring about giving patch notes, didn't update the game, kept pro players in the dark. And then the biggest thing for me was the start of Overwatch League. They announced it a year before having any news or anything for it, but they also just announced that all smaller tournaments had to go through this long, annoying licensing process. And it was like different for tournaments that had more than a prize pool of $1,000, and it was just impossible to have smaller tournaments. So like all the like rising like teams at the time were just like, well, this is, if you don't make OWL or contenders now, we're just not gonna have a chance.
Yeah, and playing through the game for a few years, how was it like? How long have you guys been kind of like in that competitive scene and whatnot?
I think I started in October of 2017, and I've been in it pretty much since.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'd like to say I started before Key. I also left before Key. I would say maybe like mid to late 2018, and I was kind of in and out 2019 and 2020 stuff.
Yeah, because I know that definitely for you, like later on, you actually decided to, hey, I'm gonna coach, right? With some with like after your time playing and being a player and everything. More questions on that, in a little bit. But I do want to have ask you guys, what was your favorite moment? Like what was like a time where you're just like, that's my play during a competitive, either it be a skirmish or it be an actual like a tournament that you guys were in with your teams, where you're like, that's my highlight.
I'm sure you have a bunch of moments, Key.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. Let me think about that for a sec. If you want to go first.
Yeah, I actually have one in mind. I was actually a part of like just this group called Core, and there was like a bunch of like in-house tournaments and stuff. And one of my favorite moments was just like, I got asked to be a sub for a team.
Oh.
And I was already like on my way out of competitive Overwatch at this point. And I thought I was just helping them, like I would just like ringing is what a player does if they don't have enough like players, just scrim or playing something, and they just bring in an emergency sub. I I thought I was ringing for a scrim, but I was ringing for a tournament, like tournament semifinals. And I didn't know until we were up like 2 maps, and I was just like, I was like, I should start playing more seriously or something. I was just like, because like I remember them telling me that it was being streamed. I didn't think anything of it. I remember one time, this is probably my favorite play of the whole tournament, and I can remember the cast so vividly. I got killed. I alt-tabbed to change the music I was listening to. I got rezzed, and I started walking in a straight line, and the caster was like, oh, there goes Coffee with some odd movement. I wonder what's going on over there. And I just remember that so vividly.
So they called you out.
I alt-tabbed back in and just started walking to like the left or something.
Oh no. I bet you everyone's just like, what's going on over there? Just like it must have been wild, huh? Like once you caught on, you're like, oh crap, this is an actual tournament. Yeah, but how about you, Key? Were you able to figure something out?
Yeah, I got it pretty much instantly after he started talking. I'd say it was, I can't remember the specific date, but it was like somewhere in 2020. It was an open division tournament. It's pretty much like what used to be the way to get into contenders, and that's kind of not existing now. But it was during that tournament where me and my team, we were playing this composition that was like the meta at the time, where it was just a Winston Zarya, like kind of just you walk at people kind of comp, and my team and I, we understood it so well, and it was like we were all on the characters that we were like at our best at. So it was just kind of, it was pretty much, it felt like it was made for us. And I just remember that entire tournament just playing, and always every map at least getting like a cool primal kill or something like that. Like it was just a very, very, very cool moment. And any single time I can, I always try and like be like, hey guys, can we like run this comp in scrims now? Because I miss that environment, or miss that comp more in particular.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so pretty much for the people who haven't played Overwatch, or who are kind of wondering, what are these terminology? We should probably let them know that Overwatch game by Blizzard, as well as there's different roles. Like for you, what kind of role would it be? Like I know that there's a difference between off tanks and main tanks. You want to give us a little rundown on that, since you are like a tank main in general?
Yeah. So the difference between main tank and off tank kind of stems from like main tank. Most of the time, you're going to be like the one taking all like the damage from the enemy team. You're going to be the one who's usually walking in first, and the one who's going to be like once you secure like certain parts of the map, your main tank's going to be like the one that's trying to hold it down, while your off tank on the other hand is going to be the one who's kind of saving everyone's ass. Whether that be like their own body or their abilities. A lot of like the off tank abilities are very more like passive and like for the team, and main tanks are more like aggressive and like get in their face, I think.
I gotcha. And which one would you play? Which one would you say that you played more? Were you more of like an off tank main or a main tank, or were you like flexible with everything?
I'd say a few years ago I was definitely just strictly main tank. I could not play like off tank to save my life. And ever since whenever Overwatch 2 was announced and they said that there were going to be like a whole bunch of new tanks, I decided like it's probably best for me to try and learn all of them, just in case if something would happen where like 2 off tanks were the meta, or if it's like 2 main tanks and like one of them's my weaker one, or maybe there's a new role or something like that. And so after that, I started playing all the tanks, and I'd say now I'm pretty comfortable on any tank for the most part.
Hey, that's awesome to hear. How about you, Zach, on your end? Because I know that I haven't really... I've played with you guys before. I know for sure that Keyy's been playing a lot of tanks, but you look... I mean, whenever we play, you always play either offense or support. Which one would be more of your main?
So... Overwatch went through this big change back in the day because of a specific comp called GOATs, which stand for Go All Tanks and Supports. Mm-hmm. At that time, I was primarily like a player that would play like so back in the day, a lot of comps played 3 tanks and 1 DPS or something. Mm-hmm. So my role was called it was like the flex role. So that's why I found myself like comfortable in a lot of these off tanks and like a lot of DPS characters. And so that's pre-222. After 222, I switched over like primarily to like flex DPS. A better way to describe that would be like utility DPS. So basically, a lot of my abilities weren't like meant. And they were meant, but they were like one character that comes to mind is like Mei. My job wasn't to frag out and kill everyone on Mei. My job on Mei was to like split a team so everyone else could just like focus something easier.
Okay.
So basically like it would just be like more utility to set up either my off tanks, my other tanks, or just like my other DPS. Just put everyone in situations that is just easier for a team fight.
Okay.
I still do. Yeah, obviously I'm still a DPS player and I still needed to like kill people and stuff. Yeah. But primarily I would look at it like I need to do things for other people, and it doesn't matter how many times I die. I need to do these things for those people.
I see. Yeah, because I mean, definitely a flex role and stuff it's pretty crazy. And I mean, it's one of those roles where when you say I'm flex to someone who's not too knowledgeable in that kind of terminology, they're like, so you like flex your muscles? But yeah, no, pretty much it's just that. It's cool though that you're able to play different characters and you kind of learn that process of playing those different characters.
Yeah, Overwatch took my job because I liked flexing between tank and DPS,
but yeah, no, all in all, that's pretty awesome there. I mean, I know, but like you guys being on teams, like when you guys had your skirmishes, I remember you guys were all like, "Oh, we have skirmish today." How long are those like skirmishes? How long are those like practice days? Like, to both you guys, all in all, if you guys can recall.
Do you want me to? I can answer that really quickly as a player, but I'll let Key as a coach. It's a little different. Yeah, Key, if you want to just go ahead and answer like the general, like how long people would scrim.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So it looks like Key is
he's having a little bit of internet problems.
Yeah, a little technical difficulties. I'll go ahead and answer both of these. Scrims as a player will sit somewhere between 2 to 4 hours. Each block is 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Some teams will double block occasionally, which means it's just another 2-hour block later in the day. As a coach, though, your job doesn't stop.
It's consistent.
Like, especially if you're not, like, if you're coaching by yourself and you are just a solo coach working with like minimal resources, your job isn't done until, like, oh, I need to help, like, walk through people with how we want to execute this, or I need to sit some people down and we need to talk about, like, how we want to go about playing this composition. Or I need to go do some, like, VOD checking, and, like, if there's, like, a tournament up, I need to go do some, like, information gathering, how other teams are gonna play stuff. Being a coach, yeah, the scrim, you're helping players out might end, but you're putting extra hours to gather as much information to give your players a competitive edge. At the end of the day, it's not you out there playing the game, it's them.
I see. Yeah, no, like that definitely makes sense there, because it's more of it sounds like it's a lot of work though for just like a coach, like mostly for you being like a single coach to the team. And it must have been tiring, huh?
Yeah, there were definitely some long hours I put in trying to help just gather experience and knowledge for people.
I got you. Has there been like any complications that you had to like get, like, kind of help your team around, where maybe some of the players were just not communicating well with each other, or some of them were just very stressed out or nervous before an actual game, like a match, that you were just there for them?
Yeah, there's like always there for a little bit, especially on tournament days. I always wanted to get our team. It rarely happened. I always wanted to get the team together before, like, an hour before the tournament, and just tell them to, like, hey, let's just take a few deep breaths before this. We're gonna go in there, do the best we can, all that stuff. Complications between, like, players, where sometimes I had to resolve in, like, the best way possible, because everyone is different, everyone has different personalities, and it was my job as, like, a coach to, like, understand each of those players' personalities, and, like, the best way I get the most out of them, and, like, the best way you could get them to, like, really want to, like, focus during, like, scrims and VOD reviews. Like, everyone wants to get better, but some people always, like, some people want to get better like it's a microwave. You just put it in for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And they just want to just be good. Yeah, they just want to be done. Getting better isn't like that. It's not a sprint. It's a long marathon that it never feels like you finish.
Oh yeah, no, like it sounds like it just based on how you explain, because it's like you're not going to become a pro overnight, right? That's the main thing. Yeah, it's like you, at least it's good that, you know, there's someone like you as a coach that's there for the players, so you guys aren't, you know, or they're not like, you know, before a match, oh my gosh, I'm stressed, and all of a sudden that stress gets to them and they just don't perform well enough, or they don't perform the way they wanted to. Like that's a vibe killer. That's like a demoralizer right there for those players. And I mean, it's good that definitely, it must have been hard on you too, since again, you know, you're being a single coach and you have like a team you need to take care of in a way.
Yeah, it was definitely like a mama duckling sort of situation sometimes. Because, like, once players get into, like, a bad rhythm, and there's no, like, in-game leader, no in-game voice, because obviously I can't talk to them while they play. Like, if there's no one, like, who could help refresh their mental and, like, just, like, get them back on track, like, doing that between maps is really difficult, because they'll come to me already with their heads down when, you know, we need to keep looking forward and all that. And it is kind of hard once people start getting those funks. And since everyone handles it differently, some people could say they're okay, but, like, in the background they're just fuming, and I can't know, nobody knows, because, like, one, like, we're not like a tier 1 team. We don't have like a training facility where I could physically see them. We don't have like any resources I could put into them that it's not coming out of my pocket, you know?
Yeah.
Like, obviously I would love to give my players the world, and I try to give them all I can, but it was difficult for sure, because I just couldn't see them.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, you know, even having all those players and everything, has there ever been like an occurrence where one of your players either like questioned or challenged a play or some kind of stuff that you wanted them to try it out or, you know, do?
Oh, many a times. I love when players like question and start talking and start like wondering how things work, because everyone gets stuck into this mindset when they're not a pro player that the way the pros play are the only way you're allowed to play the game. And I love it when players like question why people are doing those things and why it's good actually. There are a few times where like some players just wouldn't understand the concept, and I would have to sit down with them, you know, after scrims, spend an extra hour or two just kind of like getting the concept ingrained to them, like, yeah, this is how we need you to do it. We can't have you just do it, like have you like do this or just like mindlessly do this. I need you to just do it so we can set other people up. It's really hard managing egos to say like you're not the number one option on the team, because Overwatch is such a team game. Everyone takes turn being number one.
Yeah, and mostly like of course probably a lot of people are like, I need to show off. I need to make myself look good. I need to make myself, you know, the top so that I can let myself be known to other organizations, other teams and stuff, right? Is that kind of like how the ego went?
Yeah, there were a lot of people like probably thinking along those lines, maybe not like vocally, but definitely internally. Like, as an Overwatch player, like I totally get it. As a player myself, I was just like, if I don't show out, then like I'm not gonna get any options anywhere, you know? I'm not gonna get opportunities to, you know, further what I want to do. And like I get where they're coming from, and I finally like understood when I like got into the coaching booth and out of the player booth, obviously. Like I understood that like, yeah, these players are gonna look good, but the people that are really like making these players look even better are like just as like important or more important even to like teams that are like looking for something.
Yeah. It must have been rough, huh? Like, you know, sometimes you're just like, hey, dude, if you play better as a team, then you look better, instead of that one guy that's trying to get like what, a 5-man Lucio bop on what was that what was that one map where you can just bop everyone off the tower? And
Lijiang, or like
Lijiang Tower.
Ilios. But here's the thing, like there are metas in the game where that was like a play that teams would make, and like the best teams understand there's 6 people before there's 6 individuals. There's 6 people playing as one team, not 6 individuals playing on a team. It's like it was such a, sometimes like some people either get too stuck on the big picture of being I need to be the best instead of we need to be the best, or sometimes even get stuck up on trying to be too good of a teammate and they forget about themselves. It does go either way.
Yeah, and looks like our buddy Key is able to fix the technical difficulties on his end, so let's welcome him back. Everything good, Key?
Yeah, everything should be good now.
All right, awesome, man. Hey, don't worry about it. We were just talking about how it's like for Zach to be, you know, a coach, anything that came in with like, you know, players and the difference between the eyes of a coach and the eyes of a player. Now I guess this is a great time for us to kind of look a little bit more deeper into the eyes of the player, because I know that, you know, you as a player, like how has it been like as a player? Is it hard, because I know it's you and like 5 other guys in Overwatch?
Yeah, I'd say definitely it's not easy, because definitely it's 6 personalities, right? And sometimes those personalities don't get along, but that could be like the best team in the world, but if you can't get along, then you know you're not gonna do well. So a lot of the time, at least me personally, I'd like to think of like, even if I don't like someone, just because like the way that they act or if I see them in a ranked game and they're not like, you know, that nice of a person or whatever the case may be, I still try and like go into like, you know, maybe that day, right? Always try and have like an open mind, but it's definitely kind of frustrating when players think that like they're the shit, quote unquote, and anything that you try and say or like give any sort of like feedback, they're like, no, you're wrong, I'm right, this is why, and like there's no argument.
Yeah, so they just make it harder on the whole team. It's like that one person dragging down the team instead of, you know, that one person trying to be there for the team, you know, hype up the team and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Are you more of the, you know, are you more of the person that just kind of goes with the plays, or do you always try to like hype up your team and, you know, give them the extra push, even if you guys like say you guys are still losing the match and whatnot? Because I know that's very demoralizing when you start losing, of course.
I'd say I'm definitely somewhere in the middle. Before I used to do neither. I was very like, if we were losing, I'd shut down. I'd just go quiet. I would stop talking. It took one of my ex-teammates and actually one of Zach's friends to kind of yell at me one day. I'd be like, you know, you're supposed to be our leader and whatnot, and I was like, you're right. And since then, I like focused on like, you know, I can't be, if I shut down, my team's gonna shut down. So I have to have like a very strong mental, and I can't let anything really faze me.
Yeah, if I could add to that actually real quick, he was definitely, because the person you're referring to was one of the, like, I was also a Keys coach at one point, as well as the other person he's referring to. Definitely like he has a very like explosive personality, say the least, when it comes to in-game like leadership. But the size of that explosion definitely like varied from time to time back in the day. But it's going back to like what he said about like the personalities and such. It's like, if there's no like, obviously like 6 personalities are so important, but like having like a like mental leader is like super important as well, because you need something to ground those 6 personalities.
Yeah, and you know, like everyone's different, of course, too. I think you said it too. It's six players, and everyone's different. Everyone has a different mental when it comes to the game, and I guess in a way too, like I agree with you that you do need that mental leader. And then it's good though. It's good that, you know, you're able to learn that key, and you know, you tried to be more vocal and everything. So that's some pretty cool stuff, you know, like that, having that push in a way.
Yeah, but I would definitely say I'm not like I could be a leader for sure, but when it comes to the mental leader type of thing, I don't really know. I've always tried working on it, like how to corral people back and like be like, hey, you know, we got this. Like we might have lost a map or something like that, but I've always found it really hard. But I've always had teammates that I've learned little things from, and I've picked like here and there what they do. So it's definitely gone better. I'm not where I should be though, and I think that's one of the things that's holding me back from like going further.
I see. I'm guessing, like, you know, with you, definitely it's like every day's like a new push, right? Like try to work towards being better in that type of form. Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's good to hear though. That's definitely good to hear. I'm proud of you on that, man. Let's see. Yeah, and then, you know, when it comes to, I mean, for both of you guys, I guess, in a way, since you guys were both players at one time, you know, I've heard the comms when it comes to like in-game like skirmishes or tournaments. Everyone is talking, everyone is yelling, people are repeating themselves, all that fun stuff. How hard is it on your end as the player when your whole team is like yelling the name of a certain hero, or they're like consistently yelling the name of the play or something like that?
You want to go first?
Yeah. So, Overwatch adapted this style of calming after like leaks of a very like potent Korean team at the time, where instead of like one like, you know, IGLing in like slower paced games like CS:GO, or like even games like where constant communication needs to go through, like let's just say like Rocket League, it's definitely not like overbearing. Overwatch had this style of like, just yell the character that you need to kill, and keep yelling it until it dies.
There's no way that's the actual thing.
And then obviously, like, you usually have like 2-3 strong voices, like trying to like help teams like rotate, or trying to like set up for something. But definitely when a fight breaks down and everyone needs to just, when you're starting your like just like real fight, you're leaving like the poking phase, everyone's like straddling for position, and you're just like starting to fight. You literally comms would break down. It'd be like I don't know, someone would start shooting at like Brig or something, and it'd just be a Brig, and it'd just be that until Brig dies, and then they do that to the next one. And like the biggest thing where people like counter calling, where someone either missed timing or missed like a dive onto something, and it'd be like you'd hear someone scream, you know, Brig, or then you'd be like, you hear someone in the back being like, I have Diva at 1, Diva, shoot Diva. You know, that was like probably the most stressful thing, where it was just people just counter calling each other, and it was definitely like really hard.
How about on your end, Key?
I definitely say that comms change from team to team, obviously. Like, I know every team that I've been on since 2020, it's I've always tried to kind of have like a sort of structure after having, you know, conversations with coaches and all that, and a lot of them tell me like, you know, it's okay for things to be free flow, and like, you know, because obviously you can't predict what's going to happen all the time, right?
Oh, yeah,
so you can't really have like a set structure, but you know, you always want to have like a, hey, like before the fight begins, is there something that you want to look for? Like, do you want to try and force enemy position to back off, so then you can take that and then like have an actual plan from there or something like that. So for me, a lot of it's kind of now like 15-ish seconds before the fight actually happens. It's like, hey guys, I want to do this. Can we make sure that our tracer can do this for whatever, right? Like have something a little bit more like descriptive, so it's not just like, all right, let's go like run at them and hope that we like kill them, right?
Yeah.
So I would say it's definitely a lot more structured on my end, but it does get really, really hectic, especially in tournaments. People tend to kind of throw strategy out the window sometimes, and just be like, run it down, which used to be a really big issue on like teams that I was on before, like when Zach was coaching and stuff like that. We would kind of all forget that like there would have to be some sort of like structure. It just
definitely players forget their like downtime, like those precious like 10-15 seconds of downtime between each fight. You have to like really push out a lot of information on what you're going to do for the next fight, like Key said. Typically, like, and this is where like IGLing comes in, right? You're gonna have like one person probably look at their whole composition, what ult they have, what part of the map are they at, what we could set up for, and you have like, I don't know, 10-15 seconds to really push that out with minimal words as possible to get maximum efficiency.
No, I'll be honest, man. To me, it sounds like just sheer chaos, like going on in the comms. But hey, I mean, if you guys are able to like understand it and be able to follow up on it, like, dude, that's impressive. That's super impressive. So
shit does get out of hand a lot, though.
It's definitely Overwatch is definitely the opposite of a lot of other games, where at the higher level comms slow down and like you have like more time to be patient and stuff. Overwatch is one of the few games where comms get faster the higher the level you go, because there's just so much information that flows through Overwatch, and there are times where it's just like, you know, the boat goes over the waterfall and you still gotta keep going and you're just stuck falling and stuff, but those are the comms that you get, and it's chaos.
Yeah, like, hey, you signed up for this, right? In a way. So I mean, going ahead with the when it comes to like, mostly for players for right now, it's how is it like going on a team? Is there like, is there anything that you have to do, like tryouts, or is there more of you just got to put yourself out there and get those clips, get those just get those plays and just keep on playing competitive until you hit that top 500, and someone from a team that you play on eventually is like, oh, I like the way this guy plays. Is it like that, or is it just more of like tryouts, or some teams are just, you have to be a certain rank in order to even be part of the team?
So I'd say back then, like a few years ago, it was definitely very like easy to just play ranked and then have your clip end up like on Twitter or Reddit or something like that, and then people be like, oh my god, that guy's good, right? And then if you wanted to go pro, you could be like, hey, look, I'm this good player, I did this one thing, like you should pick me up. But now it's kind of more like, I'd like to say it's tryouts, but those tryouts you get by just networking. A lot of it now is really just if you know people. And if you don't, then that's why you play ranked, to try and meet people, and then they introduce you to other people. It's very like social now, as the word before. It was very just like you hit a cool clip, you put it on Reddit, and then now people know your name. Okay.
Yeah. How about you, Zach?
Yeah, speaking more from it, like from back in the day, I haven't tried to play competitive Overwatch in super long. They were just like, realistically, it's like a mixture of all of that. Like, yeah, putting out cool clips, talking to a bunch of people in rank, just getting your name out there, and someone like recognizable. You definitely want to be recognizable. Mm-hmm. There's also a bunch of like Discord servers that help people not at the top level of Overwatch get on teams, network through that, get to know people, get tryouts for different teams because you have the right friends. It's definitely like a mix of a lot of things to get potentially to like the tier 1 of Overwatch. Is definitely knowing the right people, plus getting your name out there, plus just being good,
just don't be bad. Don't be dog water, don't be bad, don't let people tell you to like uninstall, you're bad, kid, kind of stuff.
Just be good, forehead.
Exactly. I mean, of course, going through the competitive, like even just ranking up in the game, you probably start seeing a lot of the same people, like once you get deeper and deeper into the ranks and higher on the ladder.
I have a theory that there's only like 400 real top 500 players in each role.
Like for real?
Like real, like maybe even less than that. That like 1,200 players seem like a lot. There's like a real 800 players in top 500 that are real top 500 players. Like a lot of spots are filled up by like alt accounts, and this was the same back in the day too. Like I really feel like there is a real lack of players, so you will queue into the same 12 players your whole night of playing or your whole day of playing for like 4 hours with the rare someone else. I really promise that there's just not as many top 500 players actually that there are slots.
Yeah, no, because I mean, like, I've been in some of your streams before too, and I've noticed you guys are like, oh, it's this guy again, or like, hey, I know this guy, like, he's good, or man, this guy sucks, kind of stuff. Like, that's why I was wondering. I'm like, man, for being top 500, there's like barely anyone. Like, you guys get a lot of repeats.
Yeah, it's also a lot of the time people who like are out of that 800 people will play like the amount of games that they need to hit top 500 and then stop. Which is like something that I used to do, would be like get as high as I possibly can in 25 games and then boom. Yeah, exactly. But it was like, I guarantee top 500, I guarantee like the cool little icon, and then I could just be like, I'm a top 500 player, that's all that matters to me, and call it a day. And now I want to get out of that habit because I feel like it's not a good habit, and also want to get my name out there a little bit more.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's a great thing right now with like Twitter, Twitch, and heck, even Facebook gaming at some points, and YouTube, is you do a cool thing, you pop it on social media, and let's say all of a sudden one of the orgs sees your plays and sees how well you do. They're like, hey, come to our tryouts, right? Or like, hey, let's see how you're like in an actual setting, which is pretty crazy how big the internet is and how easy it is. Or like, how would you guys say that along the lines? Because I know you guys are more on the competitive scene, and then of course me.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of who sees what when, and like always being ready for that opportunity, right? miracles come and go, but the ones that they appear for are the people that are ready. And so it only seems like a miracle because all those other people weren't ready.
Yeah,
You just got to be ready for those opportunities.
have you guys ever had like something small like that happen? It doesn't have to be like a big organization or not. It's just more like a group of like a team saw the way you played and you're like, that's our shot caller, or like that's the guy we need. That's the guy we need for a shot caller. That's the guy we need for a for like a tank main. We need him, kind of stuff. Like, and they reached out to you.
I'm pretty sure Key gets poached off of every other team, man.
Yeah, I definitely would say I've made an impact in like the tier 3-ish scene, to the point where like if I'm not on a team, I usually ask to ring, or like when I went LFT, I would say it was like mid to late 2021. I had a bunch of teams reach out, and a bunch of like teams that at the time I thought like I wouldn't be good enough for. And I did those tryouts, and I'd say I don't think I played my best, but I definitely think I left like a good impression. So it's definitely one of those things where like just playing in scrims and in tournaments and always competing against these people and like having cool plays and stuff like that leaves a mark. And eventually, if worse comes to worse, they have an issue with their main tank, I get asked, would you like to try out? Sometimes if I'm on a team, usually they'll say no, because I feel like I'm a very more like, if I'm on a team, I'd rather stay committed to that team than like try and find another team. Unless if it's like, something bigger, like a contenders team or something like that, then definitely I'll give it a shot. But I'm a very like, stay with the team.
Mm-hmm. Has there been any times where you had to just like reject the team altogether, be like, hey, sorry man, I can't do this?
Yeah. There was some Twitter drama with a coach who just outright he said our main tank is underperforming, and they cut the scrim like 30 minutes into it. And that same team was like, hey, we'd love for you to try out. And I should have said, due to everything that happened like with your coach, I'll pass. Which is the first time I've ever like said no to a team. And it felt weird, but it was definitely like, that's not the environment that I want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to say no.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that makes complete sense. Like it really does depend on who the coach is and how bad their history is too. So power to you on that. That's for sure. Now mostly for you, I mean you guys had to start somewhere. You guys had to have some kind of influence in your life to like, hey, I want to start going competitive. Like, do you guys have anyone like that were like anyone, either be a streamer or be a professional player that just kind of lit that inspiration, like I want to do this, or I want to try out for this?
Do you want to go first, or do I?
Yeah, go ahead and answer this one, because my roots go way back.
So it started so when the Overwatch League season, the inaugural season was announced, I was starting to look into competitive play. I was very like new, especially like computer gaming. No, I had a computer and I was playing on it, but I finally had gotten a computer that can actually run games like very well. And Overwatch was one of those first games that I picked up, and I started playing, and a part of me was like, this game seems very, very hard. I want to watch like people at the top who like know what they're doing. And I came across XQC, and
the one and only.
Yeah, the one and only.
Welcome to the jungle, my donkey.
Back when that was his catchphrase, I started watching him, and like that his gameplay was an inspiration for me to play Winston. Initially, I was a Genji Tracer player, and I was like in gold plat. And then one day after I saw his stream, I was like, I just want to play tank. And I started playing tank, I started playing more Winston, and then I saw that he got picked up to the Dallas Fuel. And I was like, I'd love to compete against him one day. And that was my main drive. And especially since I wasn't a GM player yet, my biggest like goal was I want to play a ranked game against him. But when I finally got the opportunity, because I was in the rank, I got scared. So I never played against him in ranked, which was like the one thing I always wanted to do. And hopefully one day I do get to, but doesn't play the game anymore.
Yep, he's a GTA RP streamer now, right? Which I personally enjoy I enjoy what he does. Like even during his Overwatch days, I wasn't too big on it, but he really was one of the best. That's for sure. One of the best main tanks. And I mean,
best that North America had to offer. Yeah, definitely the best at the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, how about for you, Zach? Anyone that like greatly influenced you?
Actually, he influenced like a lot of my personality at the time. I was a very impressionable young high schooler.
Weren't we all?
I don't know if you guys know who it is, but at first, actually, I wanted to play Hearthstone because I love card games and stuff, games that like make you think and like just like I don't know, controlling a board, controlling hand counts. That stuff was just the funnest thing in my world. Just making sure the other person's having a bad time was like my goal.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, so I played Hearthstone competitively for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
I didn't put up any good results. I would just get shat on in tournaments, but I hit I don't remember what it's called. It's just like I hit like rank 1 at the time, and I hit whatever rank it was after that. I don't even remember. But
yeah.
Raynad, I don't know if you guys know who that is. Also the owner of Tempo Storm, whose community team I stream for. So thanks, boss.
Hey, shout outs.
But yeah, he was just at the time just a super laid back streamer, and he would just like he just made Hearthstone fun. He made a super slow paced control game fast as hell with the style of deck building he did. He was like, I don't know, he was like a Hearthstone wonder child for a bit while still being like a toxic little like piece of shit. And I honestly was like, oh, that's perfect.
I want to be just like him.
And then like switching over to Overwatch, I've met some of my closest friends off of this guy. At the time he doesn't stream anymore, unfortunately. But Aimbot Calvin was definitely one of the biggest influences on me. He would just be like, it would just be every other day I'd see like a play of his, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'd love to just play the game like Calvin plays the game, and I just want to play on a team like that and just play like that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like Aimbot Calvin was huge. Like, it was a pretty big streamer, a pretty big influencer too at that time. Like, what didn't he range around the hundreds in views on Twitch and everything during his time?
Definitely, he was like always at the peak of the Overwatch streams if XQC wasn't streaming.
Yeah, it's crazy that you guys, you met a lot of your close friends because of that streamer though. It's wild. It's when you really look back at it too, and you're like, damn, if it wasn't for this one person, this one specific person, I wouldn't have met like all these people in a community.
Yeah, I'd probably be playing CSGO or Hearthstone right now if it wasn't for me watching Calvin. I thought Overwatch was such a bad game when I played it on Xbox. That was awful.
That's the mistake. You're playing on Xbox. Sorry, Tiz. Yeah, no, but because it's like, dude, when Overwatch came out, it was fun. It was like, I can choose all these characters with no restrictions. But all of a sudden, after like a few updates, now I had to choose my role, like, and then not only that, but everyone wants to be an offensive role. So it's like, if you just want to try to have fun with your friends as an offensive character, an offense character, it's like, you gotta wait like almost half an hour just for one game. It was crazy, like how much they changed it.
Yeah, like I said before, 222 definitely killed a lot of it for me and a lot of creativity that you could do with the game. But I digress. People are just so good these days.
Oh yeah, like everyone, it's either you just don't play the game, or you played the game long enough to become like really good at it, or you're one of those players that played it for fun. It just, the fun wasn't there anymore and you just quit. There's a lot of different players, of course. And I mean, with the game, being in its current state, and a lot of people switching over to different games, of course, the biggest game, the newest, one of the newer, bigger games that came out is Valorant. And I know that you guys have been on the grind on Valorant. How's that been?
There's been some hiccups.
There's been some hiccups. There's been some challenges, but all in all, I think like learning a new game is definitely fun and refreshing.
Because I mean, playing with you guys and having the experience to be in like parties with you guys and stuff, sometimes I can feel that competitive side come out, the calls and the plays and stuff. I'm just kind of sitting there, I'm just like, I have sniper, kind of compared to you guys are like, oh, he's on heaven, he's tapped, like He's 12. He's lit 12. I'm just like, where? Who? What? It's like
I think yeah, for him and I coming from competitive Valorant, like, yeah, you can play games for fun, but like, yeah, games are all fun until you start losing.
Yeah. It came to a point where I didn't like, even playing CS:GO, when I heard a heaven for the first time, I'm like, oh shit, you got him? He's in heaven? Like, he's dead? or like hell, I'm like, oh, you dropped him, like, so because he's in hell. That kind of stuff. But when I started looking at the map and I started watching actual people play, or I was watching your guys' perspective while I was dead, I'm like, oh, that's heaven. Oh, that's hell. Oh, that's CT. Oh, I get it now. CT is the freaking spawn. Yeah, but it's cool though that games like that have come up with sites, and then that, mostly for you guys already understanding that the context of sites and everything, you have that knowledge going into a new game. But I mean, overall though, like, how do you guys feel about Valorant so far? Going into it, I know you guys said had a few hiccups and everything, but of course it's a new game for you guys, and you guys already have the understanding of shooters in general and more of a faster pace feel because of Overwatch. Like, how was the transition?
I think the hiccups come between more of personnel. Me and Key have very different styles of how to play the game, but the Valorant as a whole, I think it's been nothing but like a pleasure to play. Like, you get a good mix of like slowing the game down, or you could like, now you could speed it up a ton with like the new patches and stuff.
Yeah, mostly the new Yoru patch.
Yeah, the Yoru patch, Brimstone buff, all Astronerves, all those things. I definitely like think they've added like another dimension to the game. Before, Astra made the game super slow. Definitely like, it's still like learning curve and everything, but I think as of right now, it's just like, I definitely think like learning and failing a lot is fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't learn if you always win, right? Sometimes you got to fail a few rounds, lose a few games to understand the game, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't win them all.
And I mean, for both of you guys in general, how did you just come up with the class or the role you wanted to play? I mean, let's hear the stories behind that.
Yeah, Key, how did you become a duelist?
Well, a part of it, instantly when Valorant came out, everyone made the comparison. It's like, oh, it's like CS:GO and Overwatch. And I used to play CS:GO before I played Overwatch, and I wasn't good enough to go pro or even semi-pro, but I was good enough that like I understood like economy and stuff like that, and like I understood pretty much how the game was supposed to be played. And from coming from Overwatch, it was very like, you learn a lot of like tempo and how to make plans, how to be an in-game leader and stuff like that. So kind of trying to combine those two, it was hard. Initially I wanted to play like Breach, because it was just because of his ultimate, because it reminded me of Reinhardt's Earth Shatter. It was like, you stun someone for like 2 seconds or something. That was cool.
It's like a knock-up stun, right?
Yeah. But then as soon as I kind of realized that like you can kind of just shoot people and like go on with Jet and like just with duelists in general, it was more like it took everything that I learned from Overwatch, like always being the one to go first and like kind of just like being the bait for the team so that they can succeed. It was like, I want to play duelist, something like that. I already know I know my life is not, I don't want to say worthless, but like my job is to go in, get info, get a pick or two, and then die, and like my team wins the fight. So from that, it was just like I play duelist, and it kind of forced our friend group to kind of play around me.
As we eyeball Zach.
Yeah, I wanted to play Phoenix at first because I thought he had swag, but then everyone else was like, I'm playing duelist, and via necessity I would just fail, and it just it eventually became fun to play like the controller role, just because I know I'm smarter than everyone. It's really as simple as that. Like I could probably count the footsteps the person took into heaven and know when they're peeking type beat. I've definitely there's definitely actually been moments where I feel like I could see the map in like bird's eye view and I know where they're walking. There's definitely been moments like that. I just know where everything's happening at all times.
Yeah, no, I mean, the clips you sent me for the introduction video and stuff, it was wild because it's like, you know, you can hear, I can hear you like making those calls and like oh, you know, you got like 3 people, like you're already pre-firing because you know that people are gonna walk out from that corner, you know, and then I don't know where you get like what you get like a collateral headshot or like, you know, you just mow everyone down with that vandal. I'm just like, there's no way. Same thing for like that 1v4 with a ghost. And you had a freaking shorty too.
Yeah, I mean, like my job as a controller is one to help, as the name states, control space and like control angles. So obviously, like it's way easier for me to know where they're coming because I'm controlling something else. Also, I'm just going off of information gathered from my teammates, whether they speak it into existence or not. I'm always checking the mini map, seeing where a ping shows up, showing where like or if someone sees something, I immediately like, if a character will be like, enemy here, enemy sighted in something, I'll instantly like ping my eyes to the mini map and just like, oh, I could kind of cheese out how they're gonna path this and just figure out what to do. And it's like I have the power to slow the game down, and I have the power to like tell people how to move, essentially.
Because for you, you're very like, you know, you have to be very technical, you have to know the game. Whereas for Key, you just had to have a very fast like thought process, because it's like, you know, you're playing Jet, you're playing a duelist. You have to go in and you have to utilize everything. But if you mess up one thing, one macro, then you're screwed. Like,
he has 2 brains. I'm telling you right now, I'm the second brain. I'll tell him to dash in somewhere. Yo, clear this. I'll clear this for you. I'll stun this for you. Like, then like obviously like I do this because like we want to set up our duelists to not just instantly blow up when they dash in or like entry, right? Yeah. And like, oh, I'm smoking this, I'm watching this, all those things. It's a game of constant flow of communication, not as hectic as Overwatch, but definitely like it's a game where you still need to talk to your teammates.
Yeah, because I feel like once you start playing like games that are similar to CS or like search and destroy style, well, then it's like it's like definitely Valorant. You know, like of course, like Valorant is your typical search and destroy game. It's like your life is very valuable early game. Late game, when there's like a 4v1, if somehow, some way, all 4 of you guys die to one person, at that point you guys just got outplayed, like, you know, or there were no comms to where that one person was. So it all depends, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's pretty crazy though, like hearing both your guys' comms and like setups for each other is wild.
Yeah, it's definitely like, hey Zach, can you pull here? Can you suck this? Can you smoke this? And I'm just like, yes, Kevin, I'll do it for you. Anything else you need?
Do you give him like a little like pat on the back, kiss on the forehead? You know, good luck when he goes in.
Okay. Wiki, a lot of my util for him is like wiki, time to go to school, and he has to start playing the game.
No, because because I'm like, you guys have such good setups for each other. Mostly when you play Astra, like your pull for Key, or you know, or your smoke setups on Viper and everything too. Like it sets him up. I mean, we can hear it from Key himself.
I do everything I can to set Key up, unironically.
Yeah, it's fun. It's always a fun time seeing you guys play. Like, just like when you guys were playing Overwatch and you guys were streaming it and everything. I mean, do you plan on streaming more Valorant, more, you know, or bringing back some Overwatch gameplay in the future?
Oh, is that
so which one of us?
Both of you guys.
Our answers might be buried here.
Yep. Just go for it.
You want to go first, or?
Oh, no, good. You haven't spoken about it.
Yeah. So since I'm still not sure if I want to, you know, drop Overwatch. I still enjoy the game. I still love competing, but when it comes to streaming, Overwatch is a very hard game to stream because, you know, one, viewership isn't like the highest, right? And, you know, it's a lot of the time it's a very like, I feel like if you want to quote unquote make it in Overwatch as like a streamer, you have to do a lot of like pushing out content, which is like, you know, something like with TikTok or YouTube or stuff like that. And that's
you don't do a TikToker or whatever, Key.
I use the TikTok, but I don't make the TikTok. I just consume it. But
he's a connoisseur.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about like just the whole content side of Overwatch that doesn't really like. It doesn't make me want to do it just because it feels very like you have to work harder than everybody else. But since I'm also trying to compete, I'd rather just put all that effort into competing than trying to split it. And then, you know, I might be, you know, a little trolly, a little feedy in scrims, but I post a bigger video, like, you know, I don't think it's worth it. So streaming, if I were to, it would definitely be Valorant. Unless if I'm playing ranked, Overwatch, I'll just stream it because, you know, I know there are people who like to watch my POV. So definitely something that, you know, it varies. But if I were to pick one, I'd definitely choose Valorant.
I gotcha. And I mean, heck, there was one time you had a whole 24-hour stream.
Yeah, that was hard.
Genshin streamer.
Yeah, Genshin streamer. Where's the freaking promo?
Yeah, the 24-hour stream was not planned, or it was planned, but it was not planned what I was gonna do until just I think Zach when I was like, just play Genshin. And
I think I honestly, so if you don't know, I'm also like Q's mod and stuff. I feel like I'm like his fucking Twitch manager, honestly. But I definitely like I stayed up like 20 hours for that stream just to make sure like he didn't die.
That's true. You know, it's crazy scary.
We like talked about. I was like, hey bro, just play Overwatch for a lot. What we played like Detroit Become Human a bit too or something. You did.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And you played Genshin a lot. I definitely like took like hour naps for there because like I literally his 24-hour stream literally ended the day I had to go out with my mom for her birthday.
Oh,
but I was not about to let him struggle through that alone.
Yeah,
because I pushed him to do it. So
yeah, that's good though. I mean, we got a good question in chat right now with Stream of Fire. I mean, what kind of games do you guys play other than just, you know, Valorant and Overwatch? Like, is there anything else that you guys like really do like to play? It can be phone games. Don't worry, we don't judge here. Maybe a little. Wow, who's your favorite Genshin player or not player, but character?
Definitely more Key Genshin Impact than I know I have like a bunch of stuff that would say otherwise, but I realistically, for me, I play like rhythm games. I love rhythm games. Osu, Muse Dash, stuff like that. I love Live School Idol Festival All Stars.
Yeah, I mean, like the rhythm games are fun.
Yeah.
That's for sure. How about you, Key?
I'd say I'm probably like on the opposite side of that spectrum. Although I don't mind those games like Osu. I used to play it a lot. But for now it's more like if I'm not playing a shooter lately, I actually, besides Genshin, I've also been playing a little bit of Fortnite here and there. You know, a little dabble, not too much, but it's,
how many battle royales have you won?
This Fortnite season, I'm not sure. I know it's like in the double digits, but I don't know if it's like 10 or like 20.
Damn, you're a gamer, dude.
Dude, every time I've seen him play Fortnite, he just shits the bed. I don't know why. Yeah. He's nervous.
I think the first game he watched me play. No, yeah, it was the first game he watched me play. I died to fall damage. So, you know, that probably says something about like, you know, how easy it is for me to get nervous. But besides that, lately I've been playing the game that came out recently. It's called Sifu. It's
oh shit,
kind of like a Sekiro or something.
Yeah, it's like when you die, you get older, you deal more damage, but you lose your overall health, right?
Yeah. I hate it. I hate the game, but I love the game. It's very, very hard. I tried playing it on a controller. It felt better, but like my ability to input like combos and stuff was not there. So I'm playing it on keyboard and mouse, and it feels worse. But I finally beat the second level, and
hey, let's go.
It's frustrating because you can also like reset to try and see if you can get like a better run with your age.
Yeah.
And it took me. I think after you reach like age 73 or something like that, you can't age anymore. Like you'll quote unquote like be dead. So I passed the second level with, I think it was age like 68 or something. So now I have to figure out a way to like either redo everything and hope that I get something lower, or try and beat the rest of the game at the age of 68.
It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool though. Like, let's be honest, like that concept. Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, just the fact that, dude, it's martial arts. There's so many references in the game too. Like they have there's an old boy reference that you'll see later on. I don't know which level it's in, but I've seen gameplay for it. The moment the camera panned, I'm just like, yo, there's a lot of movie references, a lot of martial art. Like, it's more of the martial arts movie references that they do. And dude, I'm excited for you to see those parts, because if you know the movie and you've seen like certain movies and you see what they do in the game, it's a good homage.
Okay, yeah.
I'm excited for you.
I do want to beat it this month. Like, actually, I might stream it. I might try and like see if I can.
Oh heck yeah,
beat the game on stream.
Twitch.tv/ KeyyyOW.
KeyyyOW. Yeah. I mean, Stream of Fire is saying that it's like, if you guys are interested in like realistic World War II shooter games or just games in general, Hell Let Loose is a pretty dope one. I've seen the gameplay of it. It does look pretty sick though. It looks like a very hard game to get used to because it's more realistic, but it does look pretty fun for a shooter. Like, I don't know how you guys
into it.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how you guys feel more about, like, you know, like World War II style shooters, like even just like, God, I don't want to say Call of Duty or Battlefield, since those are becoming more and more unrealistic. What? Still pretty
like I played like World at War a lot.
That one was a fun one though. That one was a fun one. I really enjoyed that one. As a kid growing up, playing World at War is like, it was like, oh my gosh. Yep, and then
Xbox 360, bro, to play like zombies. Just like,
yeah, dude, I hate that you had to finish the whole game in order to play zombies. that was annoying. But it was fun. I mean, how about you, Key? Any other shooters or like, you know, that you would play?
I mean, I used to play hella Call of Duty like last year, but this year with the new game, I wanted it away. I was initially gonna buy it like in December, but after seeing all like the lack of content, because my biggest thing with Call of Duty or shooters in general is like, if I'm gonna play it like for fun, I want to make sure that like I actually have fun. And just hearing that there was nothing for zombies in that game, it just completely like threw me off. So there's not. I'm hopeful for like the next one that comes out. Hopefully, like that can bring me back to Call of Duty or something. But there's not really anything else. It kind of feels like, I don't want to say there's like a drought in games, because there definitely isn't. But in the games that I'm interested in, like shooters, there's definitely like not a whole lot going on.
It is starting to get very stale in shooters, huh? Or like
there's only so much you can do, right?
Yeah. I mean, hey, there's this new one called Ready or Not that came out where you play as a SWAT team. That looks hilarious.
It's true. I saw some gameplay. That it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I mean, definitely would love to give that one a try with you guys.
Yeah, dude.
Just FBI open up and just flash everyone in the room. I mean, yeah, that's true, of course, too. It's like, you know, I don't know, for some reason, it really is the fact that a lot of indie shooters are better than AAA shooter games.
I think the case is that like AAA teams have figured out the formula, and if you like establish that formula from way back in the day, people are gonna like buy it. Like indie people have like put their whole life into like making like a great game, and that's like really respectable.
Yeah.
But and I love that, like I love hearing like indie Cinderella stories, how they like, you know, make that money. Like that Night in the Woods had like a bunch of like GoFundMes and stuff. Yeah, it has a great fandom too. I just like when it comes to like a multiplayer aspect of like an FPS or like a third-person shooter, since like AAA games have the power to back a multiplayer, it's just like it's so hard for like an indie company to come in and make something like they could make something amazing, like 12 out of 10. they just don't have, they just lack the resources to make it like advertise it as a 12 out of 10, you know?
Yeah, I mean, definitely understand that thing. I mean, and of course, you know, I do want to ask a question. Going back to like, you know, with you in rhythm games, Zach, relating that to Overwatch. For some reason, everyone who played Overwatch was playing Osu. They say something about like the concept of hand-eye coordination with like Overwatch and Osu. Is that like a myth, or is it actually true?
Oh, it's so fake. For me playing Osu, I played Osu first. Like I knew of Osu before I knew of like Overwatch and stuff. I didn't originally play standard. I played Catch the Fruit, where you just move a little forward, back and forth with a speed boost to catch some fruit. I think a lot of the time, there's a big streamer at the time. He was just kind of like, there were a lot of like Twitch back in the day, right? Was like, you're like a gamer, tough guy, FPS, I play CSGO, like, or like you were like, you know, like a slow paced, like tactical, like card game player where you were just boring and you just weren't funny and not interactive. You were just thinking the whole time. You just zoned out. Yeah. Then Overwatch came around. It was a colorful game. Like it was super interactive, and there was like just enough of downtime to look at your Twitch chat. And there was one person in particular I think of who like played Osu around that time, who probably like popularized to a lot of these kids who were like, oh, if he aims good, I'm gonna aim good. His name's Surefour. He was like, being a weeb on the internet at the time was like really hard.
Yeah, it was very looked down upon. Like, you say you like anime on stream,
anime profile on you. Picture, Lamau, your opinion doesn't matter. Like it was definitely really hard to like anime, and like at the time, like he just didn't care.
Hey, I mean, that's the best way to do it. Just don't care. Just do what you love. You know, talk about what you love, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and he definitely had I'm sure like he played a big part of the Overwatch community at the time playing Osu for sure.
Yeah, like everyone just started playing Osu. Like a lot of people who didn't know about Osu started playing Osu, and they started playing anime songs that they didn't even know existed. That's the funniest thing. It's like oh, I heard Surefour play it. I looked at what the name was called, or I don't even know like what is this song, because everything's in like kanji or you know, like a different language.
The amount of times I would just like tune into a random like Overwatch streamer stream and they're playing like Crossing Fields on like Osu. I'm just like, okay. And they're like, I know Sword Art Online, I'll play that song. And then like it was just like, you know.
Meanwhile, we got the what was it, the school idol like entrepreneur over here.
I love idol music.
No, idol music pops, dude. Like certain like a lot of the songs are really well made. That's for sure.
There's like full-time like studio musicians behind these things, and like like pop, like the lyrics are kind of corny, but isn't most pop music lyrics kind of corny? That like like how many Taylor Swift love songs could there really be, and they're all original?
Oh yeah, it really does depend too, like on how well it's produced, how, you know, who the producers are, and of course how it sounds in the end. Because when you compare, like, if we compare both things together, they sound, there's a big difference between the two. You know, one of them is very upbeat but has like has some kind of weird cheesy context behind it. The other one is like your sad one that has like the other cheesy context. But I like to consider it more of which one uses more of like original instrumentals and which one uses more computerized instrumentals, or like more on the electric kind of field. Because I know that those two vary big in idol music as well as, you know, typical US music, like pop music.
Yeah, if I could talk on like how electro these days and just like high snares and stuff are like used in music and stuff, it's like for a long time all that stuff was just like meh. And then like 2020 and stuff, like EDM started like making the mainstream. Like dubstep and stuff was like in and out of the mainstream, like Skrillex and what the person who made the Centipede song, Lifehouse. Like they were in and out of the mainstream.
Yeah. How about you, Key? Who's your favorite idol?
Oh,
Favorite idol.
I know the answer.
Because I know you've been watching some idol anime.
I don't want to assume it's the one we read the book on together in the Overwatch group chat. It's not her, right? The adult book we read together.
Oh no,
I don't think so. I can't remember who the book was about. But if I had to pick like my favorite idol, I can't. I can't remember her name. It was the main character of Love Live.
Oh, Hanukkah.
Hanukkah, yeah.
Yeah, because
she was probably my favorite.
Because I remember that you knew nothing about idol stuff, Key, and then all of a sudden, and one day I see you guys watching school idol and stuff. I'm like, oh, Zach is influencing Key.
I try my best.
Yeah.
School idols.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I knew a little bit of like idols, or at least like the idol animes. I was like, kind of trying to get into anime because I'd watched it before when I was younger, but a lot of it was like Dragon Ball Z and like Naruto and stuff like that, and that doesn't really like interest me. I don't really care for people fighting. So when I saw Love Live initially, I was like, oh, that looks like it'd be a cute thing to watch. And I watched one episode. I thought it was like okay, but I called it there. And then Zach was like, "We're watching it."
I'm like a bug.
Yeah,
I'm like a tick.
Forced me to watch it.
He just kept on bugging you. He really do be like that. Also, Stream of Fire, thank you so much for contributing in some questions. You have a great night. We'll catch you later. But yeah, no, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny how things start out small, and then you got your friends there to kind of like give you that push, be like, hey, we're gonna watch like this whole season in the span of a week, and you're gonna sit here.
I love it because I know he hates it. Like I know he just doesn't like it. He likes. I show him some songs and he likes them, and that's just like it. I remember sitting down in a hotel room watching like a little bit of Idol Lives with him for like an hour.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's funny stuff for sure. And I mean, mind me asking, how long have you and Key known each other?
I've known him since he was an embryo, of course.
Yeah, you guys were always there next to each other, huh?
It feels like it at this point, huh, Key?
Yeah. I mean, there were definitely moments where like I don't want to say like we didn't talk, but like or I was kind of just preoccupied with certain things, so we didn't hang out. Like 2021, I'd say was pretty. I was busy, to say the least. So we didn't really hang out much 2021. But like before that, and even like after like mid 2021, we hang out like almost every day.
Every day, yeah.
Nice. But yeah,
when I first met, disliked a lot.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that?
I said it to his face too that I hated him.
Oh shoot.
When I first met
turned that around, I don't know.
I literally was like, if you don't mind me just telling you how I met Key.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yes, I met Key because I poached him from a different team because I was putting a team together.
Oh my god.
I was just like, if I get him, I get all the other people that I want because they were going to go with him. And I was like, okay, I just got to get this fucking shitter. And I got him. And I was just, because I wanted a different player, but they were like a pair at the time. They were just like at the hip. And I was just like, okay, well, I need to get that one if I want the other one then. It's like...
It's buy one, get one, for a cost.
Yeah, like Amazon's like frequently bought together, and then like they were just like, you have to buy them together. I was like, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't it was sold separately. It was sold together.
Yeah, they were a package deal.
Yeah. I mean, we now we know what Zach's initial thought of you in the beginning, Key, was, but what did you think of Zach when he first first impression?
So I remember when I met him. Okay, I can't remember a whole lot about like the day that I first met him, but I remember it was in a scrim, and he was playing Diva. He was playing off tank to my main tank, and I just actually no. I was flex DPS. I wasn't playing main tank yet. Yeah. Because the duo that I had that he wanted was playing main tank. So I remember just he was super quiet, didn't really want to talk, and when he did it, it just kind of sounded very like snarky, and I don't want to say that like I was like this guy fucking like sucks, but I was very like just. I wanted to just have no opinion. Something like that, if I needed to, reach out or like, I didn't want to like burn down a bridge that didn't need to be burned down,
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, it wasn't like a mutual, we didn't like each other. It was just kind of, I was just very like, I'm not a fan, but whatever happens.
I think for him and I, like the biggest moment, I think him and I like sat down with like a few other people and just like talked about the team situation for a bit and like what my thoughts were, because at the time the reason I didn't talk much is because I was just like I was just a position holder. I was like on my way out of competitive Overwatch at that time, and I was just like dude, this team sucks. Honestly, I'll go ahead and just put it out there. I was just like, this team is bad.
I mean, yeah, who would have thought, right? That you two would still be together.
Yeah.
All this time. That's funny. That's really funny.
I definitely had a heart to heart with him, just about how we saw the game and such. And then just kind of like I wouldn't say buried the hatchet. There wasn't really one to begin with. I just thought he was just like an annoying young kid who was just like making appropriate jokes. I was like, that's just not fortunate. And I was just like, we're trying to dial in, not like like not make jokes about things that we shouldn't be making jokes about.
You're like, you're supposed to be adult to the child. Yeah. I see.
I was definitely not the smartest kid when I first started competing. I definitely made a lot of mistakes, but you live and you learn.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Everything doesn't come right away. You gotta make mistakes. You gotta trip a few times to get back up and learn. And I mean, that goes a long way, because definitely probably on your guys' end, you guys probably had a lot of hardships that you had to overcome. Either it'd be personal or it'd be like team wise. If you guys want to share anything of that, by all means.
Yeah, I wake up every day.
God damn. Oh geez.
I would say, besides the obvious, like you said, like team wise, it was definitely. I remember there was just a point in time where this was back when we had made a team, and the team name was Sakura. This was around the time when Goats was like very, very like hard meta. Every team was playing it, and just. We picked up 3 tank players and 2 off tank players, right? So I was the main tank, and it wasn't like I had to choose which one I wanted, because we definitely could have kept both since it was still Ghosts, and we just would have had one of the DPS players benched. But me being young, stupid, and very, very, very like just arrogant, I did not want. I had like one bad game with one of the tank players, and I straight up told Zach, I was like, I don't want to play with this guy anymore. And it became either drop your main tank or drop the off tank player, which you have 2 of. And we dropped them, and now like looking back at it, or even like a few years ago looking back at it, I was like, damn, that was an asshole for that. I could have definitely just talked to him and like tried to figure things out, but that was like one of those hardships that kind of, when I look back at it, I'm like, I really don't want to be that type of person.
Mm-hmm. Like, you just want to be a better person in the end, right? Like, message and everything.
God, he actually gave me one of the most difficult jobs when I did that.
Oh man,
it was definitely really hard, because I was just like, because one, at that time we were like still running trials of get like the 6 that we were going to play Goats with, because we had like we had like 8 players on the roster, and some people were like on their way out or trying to get more play time, or like I'm a big fan of rosters bigger than 6, and I know that's super hard in tier 3 because everyone wants to play.
Yeah.
But like with an ever shifting meta, forcing players to learn one thing instead of specializing what they're good at the time is just like, I just thought it was too much for a player. Like, we look at these tier 1 teams with subs that just rotate players in and out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds rough, that's for sure.
Definitely one of like the harshest things I had to do was like, okay, do I sit down and try to find another main tank? And if I cut our main tank, like, who else is going to leave with him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's hard. It probably must have been hard telling your players that, huh? Like, we're cutting you from the team, or good luck in the future, kind of stuff.
Yeah, sending that message was really tough because like I like, at that time, like, we were trying different things and they were like working, and like we just kept trying and they were like working pretty well. But then Key was just like dead set on not playing with this guy. It was just like, I wouldn't say it was just Key. There were other voices like adding in and chiming in on that. And it was very difficult for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, hey, in the end, again, if it really is just something that you look back and you're like, damn, this was hard, or hey, I wish I could have handled different, but now I know, and I'm gonna make sure like something like that doesn't happen again, which is good. As long as there's that in the end, it's like it's fine. It's the past.
Hey, it worked for him too. We had a good team at the time. Like they're a pretty up and coming like tier 3 team. They're solid.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. And I mean, on your end, Zach, I do want to say, because we're on the terms of coaching and everything. Is there any advice you would like to give anyone who wants to go into coaching? Like, any heads up advice or whatnot?
Patience. Patience is a virtue that you're gonna need for sure. You're gonna have to deal with particularly younger kids or people that like you used to play with at the same level, and they could have like different thoughts about you. But patience, you have to really you have to have like patience and dedication to working through kinks, and this goes to players too. I think both parties have to come in with like a very open mind, because a lot of people, when things go wrong, that means they don't work. And that's a mindset you can't have if you're trying to like be a team who like innovates something. Like, as a coach, I wanted to innovate something. I wanted to make it better. I wanted to like expand on why these things were good and make it great. Mm-hmm. Some people will look at the formula that's already been placed for them and just only follow that formula, and that's the only formula in their brain that'll work. But so definitely patience, dedication to like all the information you can, helping your teammates as much as you can. Just definitely come in with an open mind.
Oh yeah. And I mean, how about for you, Key? Any like advice too on your end as a player to new players, or like either it be Overwatch, it be Valorant, it be CS:GO, like someone that really wants to get started and they just don't know how to, or they don't know, or they're a little bit too shy to put themselves out there. Like, any advice on your end coming from a player?
I would definitely say people tend to have like huge egos. If they think that you're bad at the game, they will probably hold it against you no matter what. And so one thing I'd say for sure is like, as much as like it's definitely really, really hard. I still have like trouble doing it, but just other people's opinions don't necessarily matter. Like, if you have a bad day, right? Everyone has a bad day, but like, at the end of the day, you know how good you can be and how good you are. So just focus on those things, and don't try and do too much if like things aren't working. Always like maybe try and be like versatile 100%. You don't want to be like a one trick, but you also don't want to just like kind of let other people boss you around, right? Like, if you think something is good, make sure you make your voice heard, or like if you disagree with someone, like try and have a conversation about it. And that's another thing, just try and be like vocal. As a competitor, the one thing I hate the most is when people like, I'll ask for a specific thing like, hey, when do we have like amp like speed boost on Lucia, right? And it's dead quiet. I'm just like, okay, I just have to assume that we have it. Like something like that can be really annoying for like the IGL. So being very talkative, or not super talkative, but like, you know, communicate. That's like the biggest thing. Communicate.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I mean, definitely with like new players and stuff, or like new people who want to be in the competitive scene, it's nerve-wracking. Like you freeze up. Like that's what I'm guessing, because of how big everyone wants to go big, right? Like a lot of people, they're like it's a video game, it's my style, I can excel in this. But then you get to the actual grounds and you see all those people with the high egos, and all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh crap, what did I get myself into? Is it like that sometimes?
Can I say from like a tryout perspective point of view, because I've run a bunch of tryouts.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just like there's a quick tip to anyone who like wants to play on a team and they have like a tryout lined up. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to step on other people's like toes, because like what coaches hate the most are people who aren't comfortable. That's why you keep getting, if you're like good enough to make it past the first one, keep being more of yourself the second one. It's like we are looking for like a player that is like willing to be themselves in a group of 6 while still putting the 5 other players like on the same grounds as them. Like you could have a big ego, you could have like no ego, but as long as you're willing to make some like sacrifices and make it work, that's what like as a coach we're looking for. So we want to see people like, we don't want to seem like fight or anything, but like we want to see people like sharing their opinions, because at that point when you're at like a higher level, we know everyone's going to be mechanically good. We know people are going to do things at a mechanically high level. It's what you use with your, this is how you like, excuse me, that's how you like elevate your thoughts and like give them out to your like other players. Or it's like how you like have 5, sometimes 4, depending on the game, like random personnel around you, and how you like make use of it.
It's more like the leader trait in a way, like a leader, but not like enough to command a team, but not be the jerk, not be the asshole of the team.
Enough to like, right? I'm not telling you to fit in, but you definitely have to stand out to fit in. Because like, yeah, like, are you a nice enough person to follow what that's been already laid down? Are you like a wild enough person to break the like standards that are already set? Like, there has to be just good reasoning behind everything you do. Like, if I brought Key into a tryout right now, and as like I have like 5 other players and I'm just missing a main tank, obviously the opinion of the 5 voices that are already solid there are more important to me, like more important for him to like get along with at that time and like integrate himself in. It's how well you can integrate and adapt to that situation as a coach that you like, coaches will look at and be like, okay, his mechanics are good, he struggled here and here, and obviously like coaches will like get back to them like what they want to see for like a different tryout. But it's definitely like we're looking, because everyone's good, everyone could aim well, like everyone knows that they're going to come around this corner at this point at this like level of the game. It's what you do with that information, how you use it, and like how players just realistically, like the biggest thing is just communication. We don't want a player who's going to shut down. We don't want a player who's going to start yelling at other people.
Start calling them trash.
Like, do you get along with the 5 other people on your team? Like, that's such a big deal to a person who's running a tryout.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, for Yuki too. Like, when you do your tryouts, how, like, coming from the actual player's end, how difficult is it? Like, is it like super hard, or is it just nervous, like very nerve-wracking?
It's a pain in the ass, because currently right now the team that I'm on, we are doing tryouts, and we've been doing tryouts since December, and we only have 2 people on the roster, right? So we have 4 other slots to fill, and it is such a pain in the ass, because you'll have some players come in and they just do not mesh, either like personality wise, or they just don't want to, like, they're more silent, they don't really like, they're kind of playing for fun, not really like caring, which is fine on its own, but when you get into like a more competitive aspect, it's a little disrespectful if like you just don't give a shit. So there's a lot of that, and then there's just like people, like, obviously I'm not perfect, I definitely think that some people just suck, So when I see that, oh, this person's trying, I'm like, damn, I really wish they weren't. But you know, it's sometimes you can be impressed by like what you see. Like you'll have a negative mindset, and then boom, all of a sudden that could change, which has happened recently. So I'm like,
nice.
you know, I'm learning to be more open, even if I think that they're bad. It's like, give them one shot. If they just don't perform, then it's like, okay, maybe my point is a little fair, but
Yeah.
It's definitely frustrating.
I see. Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes people are just having a bad day too, right? Like if you have to kind of put that into an accountability, but you know, it can't be an excuse later where they're just, you know, they're always having a bad day, because at that point you're kind of right. They're just not good. You know, they're not good at it at the game.
I think a lot of people tend to forget that like at the end of the day we're playing a video game, and you just need to. It's like one of the bigger things. It's like you just need to like loosen up. I see a lot of players struggle with that, and it's easier said than done. Myself, I get like nervous, but like
it's only game. Why do you get so
you're
mad?
You're literally playing the game you've spent hours on hours in already. Just keep playing it, you know?
Yeah. It really does, like, that's the hardest thing about being competitive and stuff, is that you turn a game that's meant for fun into a game that's frustrating, and it kind of loses the concept of being fun, because now it's you know, no one likes to lose, but at this point it's like, it's a video game. It should be the concept of it's okay to lose, but it's been altered so much from these competitive games and, you know, multiplayer shooters, PvP aspects and everything. I don't know how I feel about it, but you know, how do you guys feel about it?
I don't. You go first. Like I gotta think about this one.
Yeah. There's an idea of perfection now, like maximum efficiency of doing things at the competitive level. Like I wouldn't say if you compete, games aren't fun anymore. I think competition makes it even more fun. But the thing about competition isn't all fun. Like everyone who competes is striving to be at least a better player or better person as they were the day before. Some of us are striving to be the best. Some of us are striving to be the best teammate. And a lot of that comes down to like, well, I could be a better teammate if I do something that's more efficient. I could be a better teammate. I could be a better player, something more efficient. And like all those thoughts are good and everything, but sometimes stuff like that will cloud a lot of judgment. Like, there are people that will tend to forget that, like, yeah, dude, these are my teammates. I'm gonna do all this stuff, and they're gonna know what I'm gonna do because we've been doing it. And then there's people that are like, people that will like treat their teammates like they're five because they're efficient.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like efficiency is like, it just blocks. Like min-maxing just sometimes overtakes that there's a person behind the keyboard and the computer screen that everyone is like personalities and like everyone learns at a different rate. Like, I don't think competing is bad. I don't think it's bad by any means. I love competing. But the thing is like, I said it a bit earlier, everyone wants to be the best overnight. And then when people get better overnight or however long they've set for themselves, they get upset and it lashes out and it leaks out to everyone else. And it's like stuff like that will blind a team from being good or even great because they don't trust themselves enough or put a trust in their teammates to go through the motions with them. Because being on a team is hard. Competing is hard. You know, at the end of the day, it's not all fun. It's not all good. You're gonna fight your teammates. You're gonna argue. You're gonna agree. Sometimes people are gonna pick sides. But at the end of the day, the score at the start of the game is 0-0.
Yeah, it's like you just go. At this point, it's just kind of like a reminder. You gotta like remind yourself, remind your teammates, your friends that, hey man, today's over. You know, even though we're competitive, it's the day's over. We're starting back at zero, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's like a mindset that you should have, even when you're down. Like, if you're down 5 rounds in like Valorant, well, it's 1 round at a time. Every day is 1 day at a time. Like, you could plan for the future, but you need to pay attention to the present, you know?
Yeah. How about you, Key? You come up with a thought for it, or still kind of unsure?
I mean, he pretty much like nailed it. What like I was gonna say. The one thing I'd like to add to that is kind of like there was this Overwatch League player named Moth that kind of, and this was the first time I ever heard of it. He like mid match, he kind of just said like it's 0-0 or something along the lines of that. And ever since I heard that, it was kind of, I try and implement that. Like, if we start losing in a tournament, I like in my head I go just, you know, it's 0-0, like we're good. Or in a scrim, if like we start losing, I try and just remind myself, you know, we're good, like we can come back. And it's definitely not like the easiest thing to do, but with practice, you kind of, it helps with the frustration, because then, you know, you kind of push that to the side. You're not angry at anyone or anything, and you're just gaming.
Oh yeah, that's a better idea of it too, definitely, because, you know, just for me, it's just like, you know, let's game. But then again, you know, when you're playing something competitive, you do let stuff take over you. And, you know, a lot of people struggle finding out what is it? Like, is this a call? Is this, you know, are these call outs? Are people trying to help me learn to be better? Or are they just backseat gaming? You know, like, is there a way to kind of like, any advice that you can give to people out there, or players that are thinking that their friends are backseat gaming them, but their friends are just having fun too and just trying to be helpful? Because I know when things get too stressful, it messes with the mindset of how people think as well.
Yeah, I definitely say, like, in Valorant, right, I play duelist for the most part. I'm like insta-locking Jet, and Zach's playing some sort of controller, and he'll be like, hey, like, do this. And it's not like it never really comes off as like he's controlling me. It's just more like, I'm gonna do this, so can you do this? So like that, you know, we can work as a team. Which you know, some people can take that as like, you know, backseat gaming or whatever, but it mostly comes down to like, if it's overbearing, like someone's like, oh, you know, you should reload right now, or like something stupid like that, right? Like where they're trying to min-max your every second of you playing. That's definitely like, they're trying to backseat game you, and that's never a good thing. But try and just, like, I would say, be open to like criticism. Obviously, I think everyone should be, but always, you know, like if someone is, you know, kind of being a little overbearing, trying to like, sometimes you can't say it because, you know, people are weirdos and like they'll say weird shit, but, you know, be a little more like, hey, I don't need your help, or something like that, you know?
Yeah, just be vocal about it in a way.
Yeah, because I know for a fact, definitely there have been times where like Zach and I have disagreed on a certain play that either I told him to make or he told me to make, and then we'll have like a 10-second discussion and be like, okay, like we understand where we both come from, and then move on to the next fight or next round.
Yeah, I don't know, because it really is just to the point where I feel like it depends on who you play with too, in a way, right? Because I mean, some people are newer, some people are more invested in the game, and while other people are more, they don't understand the concept between call outs or, you know, backseat gaming or helping out, because they're in that stressful state. So I guess, I mean, you're right in a way. And I agree with the concept that you have, like, even if you disagree with someone, just find the courage, find the reason to just voice it out, you know, or tell them to stop, right?
Yeah, just to add on to that, just take nothing to heart. It's not personal. It's a video game. It's not, they're not telling you how to live, anything like that. Like, I know there's a bunch of times where I'll think back to like, damn, I was just yelling at Key, and I'm just like telling him that like I need him to do this and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, there's things like that. But like, it's definitely like there are times where he needs me to do something, and I'm like, that's not good in my brain. It's just like, It's moments like those that like make you know what your teammates want before them saying it.
Yeah.
It's like if you're like one of my literally one of my MOs as like a player, one of my goals was just be like, damn, like I want to make teammates like if they leave or something, or like if I move on to a different thing, like I want to be like, damn, that's one of the best teammates I've ever had. I want to play with him. I want that. You know, I want to make my ex teammates think like that about me. So one of my MOs is trying to be like the best teammate I could be every day without sacrificing any of my own gameplay, like to be the best. And definitely like speaking, if you're just with a bunch of friends and stuff and they don't take it seriously, just be like, hey man, like don't take anything personally, you're just all playing for fun. It's like, and you know, obviously you could speak various levels to people. Like I'm like the amount of information I'm relaying to Key is definitely like different than the amount of information I'd like relay to you, Ethan, like in a Valorant game, right? It's just it's like nothing against you guys, it's just like Key's gonna do something completely different with the information I give him. If I give you the same information, you might just be like sensory overload, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, it's happened a few times. I'll be real with you.
Like if we're like yelling at Overwatch, right? Key, like, and you've never played Overwatch, all the things I'm telling over like to Key are gonna make sense, and if I tell them to someone else, they're gonna be like, huh?
Yep, exactly.
You want you want DM when? How do I flick it? Like do you want me to whiplash this while I'm doing that? Blah blah blah. It's like,
what the hell's a whiplash?
Yeah. Exactly like that.
Yeah.
You're like, but like definitely like when you're playing with your friends, dude, just make like if they're making like, I want you to do this or this, then like then maybe they're backseating. I'm sure they mean nothing by it, but like when like just be like, hey, can you tell me what you like saw them last or something, and just let if you're just playing game for fun, let each other figure it out, because that's where like a lot of the fun of the game is just figuring stuff out.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why I really do enjoy playing Overwatch with you guys from time to time. Oh, not Overwatch. I mean, I used to play Overwatch with you guys a bit, and also like Valorant, because it's. I mean, now that you say, I am really starting to like notice the difference between when you tell me to do something and when you tell Key to do something, or when Key tells me to do something, or compared to what Key tells you to do and stuff. And I'll be honest, if you guys were saying what you guys were saying to each other in the game and you're relaying that to me, I'd probably have an overload with the Marshall, just kind of like spazzing around a bit, like, what am I doing? What am I gonna do? Kind of stuff. But it's good though. It's good to have that mentality, like, you know, that mental or that understanding of, I'm playing with someone who isn't trying to be as competitive, compared to I'm playing with a friend that, you know, we've been together in this field for such a long time, it's normal kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to say like expectations are different, but they're like super different. Like I won't expect the same thing for you. Like, granted, your role's different, what you do is different. My expectations will just go according to the person. Like, I expect Key to be great because I know how great of a player he is. Like, at all times, I expect Key to be great. I'm sure Key expects me to set him up like 90% of the time, because I want to be like accountable that I could set him up 90% of the time, or at least relay when I can't, you know. And that's why I'm such like a hard ass on Key, because I just know how good he is. Like, I just know how talented of like a player he is, and across multiple titles and stuff. And like, Ethan, you're like one of my like closest friends. And I know what you want to do, I know what your dreams are. I'm not gonna tell you like, yo, what the fuck, man, I told you to hold this, bro, why aren't you holding it, bro? I knew he was coming there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna expect you to like understand why I knew he was coming there, right? I'm not gonna like make you like pick my brain, like, and just be like, what the fuck, how'd you know? It's like, it's just like,
my man over here like being David Blaine, dude.
I remember like I play with SkyMary, a close friend to all of us, or just a friend to all of us.
Shout out to my boy SkyMary. He's the one that did a lot of my headers back then, and a lot of headers. Hit him up on Twitter.
I'm waiting for mine. But he likes Valorant, but he doesn't like have the information. And I remember like a game we played the other day, and I was like, this person's gonna come here, this person's gonna come here, and this person's coming here. And I made like one noise, and I immediately went, "Oh fuck," because I thought I was gonna lose. But like at that time, he was just like, "What do you mean?" and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna like. My expectations of like what I'm getting into are like different, right? If I play with all of us together, yeah, I want to win and stuff, but I'm not gonna like yell at you how to play the game, because not like. My job is to like tell people how like other people want to play the game and like how to stop that. But like my expectations of how people should do it are like varied, you know?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. You don't. It's like, you just don't want to ruin the fun in the game for people, because they play. A lot of people play the game to have fun, and if you don't want to be that guy, the guy that's like, they're the reason, they're the friend, they're the reason why I just don't play anymore, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dumbass, and like all I need to do is like cuss for a few seconds and I get over it. I'm like too dumb to let things bother me that long.
Nah, don't worry, we got a little bit of dumbass in all of us. It's typical, it's normal. It's a normal thing, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, how about for you, Key? Your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I'd say, I mean, Zach is kind of, I don't know, you kind of hit the nail on this one. When it comes to playing, it's kinda, yeah. When we're playing with you, I tend to try and like, most of the time I'd say I don't really tilt. I'll get like frustrated for like 5 seconds, and then it's like whatever in my head. Because at the end of the day, I try to, if I know for a fact if I start overthinking like things that are happening in game, it's just gonna be worse for me overall. So I try to like just get mad for 5 seconds, call someone stupid or something, and then boom, I'm over it. Next round. But whenever like playing with like more friends or like a less competitive environment, it's more just like still every now and then I'll be like, why the fuck did that person do that? But it's more like whatever, like I like actually don't even think about it. It's just I'll even do stupid stuff, because then it's like that everyone's trying to have fun. Like there's no need to get mad at your friend when literally they're just trying to have fun.
Yeah. Honestly, the conversation waves are so different. Like, if I'm playing with like friends, I'll be like, yo, you want to hear this hentai I fucking watch?
Oh, no.
Like, if I'm playing with someone competitive, it's like, okay, bro, like, shit, let's dial in and stuff. Like, if I'm like, like, obviously I'm always playing to win, but I'm like, with friends, I'm not playing as hard to win. Like, my conversation is gonna be like, yo, what you eat for lunch today, dog? Like,
that's some baked beans. Damn, dude. Let me have some of that.
Shit, I'm trying to get like you, my boy.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely just like, it's just what environment you're in.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, everything. You guys are right though. It does really depend on the environment, and it's hard. It is hard from time to time too, because you guys said it before many times already that people don't like to lose. It's not fun when you continuously lose. So there is that frustration that comes in play, but it is what it is by the end of the game. At the end of the game, the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just like, again, just like if your friends say something about you in the game and you didn't find it funny and you didn't find it like great for them to say, just pull them aside, be like, yo, I didn't like that, that's not cool. You're all friends, you can talk to each other, don't be scared of your friends.
Yeah. A good message though, all in all.
Just like, talk to your friends, talk to them as you would like your normal friends. You're like, your online friends are your friends too. How close you are really depends to you, and how much you want to talk to them is really up to you. No one's afraid of being reached out to. Everyone's just scared to like reach out to someone, but no one's afraid to respond to a message. But find the courage to send that message first.
Yeah, people don't like being called out for, but if your friends, if you know your friends and you know your good friends, they'll understand. That's the biggest thing to take from it, right? If not, then if they act up on you, then that's a different story. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like, either keep talking through it, or they weren't trying to be your friend in the first place,
Yeah. I mean, hey, we hit the 2-hour mark. So that's actually
wow.
Yeah, it went by fast. I just looked over at the time. I'm like, no way, it's 2 hours already. But yeah, no, I mean, like, before we end up and everything too, I do appreciate you guys for being able to make it tonight. And even though we had a little bit of technical difficulties with internet and stuff, but in the end, it all worked out. So that's pretty good. And I mean, hey, any last shout outs, any last advice you would like to give people in the community?
I don't stream very often, but since I will be playing more ranked Overwatch this season, that's like the one goal I've made for myself. I do plan on streaming it at twitch.tv/KeyyyOW with 3 Ys. My Twitter is also the same handle. That'd be pretty cool. I sometimes tweet out something. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not, but
How about you, Zach?
Yeah. First and foremost, thanks for having us. This has definitely been a fun opportunity. But yeah.
Of course.
And yeah, just to sound myself out, I'm probably typically streaming OW, Valorant, or Overwatch. Definitely just kind of mindlessly playing games to anime music. Go ahead and just follow me at Zachary with 4 Ys for my Twitch, and no second A. So ZACHRYYY for the twitch.tv link. Or my Twitter, spelled the same name, spelled the same way, just hit the Y a max amount of times on Twitter. So it's 8. I think I have 8 Ys, 9 Ys in my name.
Did you know how hard it was, putting everything that in, man? Come on. I was just like, why is there so many Ys? Even Key had an easier one to find.
If I could change it to 4 Ys wide now, but I don't, because I think it looks pretty with max Ys. Look, if they give me space for 13 characters, I'm gonna use all 13.
I don't know. I can't argue with that.
But
I really can't.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, hey, esports is fun. You don't have to be super competitive. You could be semi-competitive in the amateur teams. Don't if you're just trying to even enter, maybe you're not at the highest level of the game, even then, just get together with a bunch of your friends. Try there's a bunch of Discord servers out there, resources to find scrims, or just find teammates, or just find people to play this in general. Don't be afraid to reach out. I know it's scary meeting new people. I myself personally am that way, but hey, the world's a little bit brighter when you look at the get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to end it off there. But again, appreciate having both you guys on the podcast tonight. And I know we started a little bit later, but everyone who's been here since the very beginning, since pretty much 2 hours ago, appreciate all of you guys for making that time, and really grateful for the community, of course, for all the guests. Definitely Key and Zach for coming on, and give them a follow. Give them a follow. Feel free to stop by their streams when they're streaming, or tweet some anime idol stuff at Zach.
Yeah, watch Love Live.
Yeah, but again, thank you guys so much, and I appreciate everyone. And we're doing the best thing of the night. Since there's a few of us here, we can definitely do something called Nice Be Nice, courteously named by TizzyQ himself, where we go ahead and rate someone who we think deserves this love, deserves this community, deserves to be known in public. We usually try for smaller streamers and everything, and I do have someone in mind. He's an art friend of mine, very great artist. He does a lot of work. He has such great artwork. Let's go ahead and rate Bat Sprite. But again, thank you guys so much, and thank you so much for Zach and Key for coming on.
Yeah, all of you be good to Bad Sprite, and thanks for having us, Ethan.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, guys, we're taking off. Thank you for stopping by. And don't forget, everyone, just stay comfy. It's cold today. See you guys.